Welcome to another episode of the Nick and Jimmy Show. Today we have the one and only Rebecca Perez. Rebecca, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. So tell us, Rebecca, what do you do exactly? What's your story?
So I started a networking platform for entrepreneurs. That's what I call it. About 2 years ago, online only, right? Called gossclub.com. And then about a year ago, the W PR team approached me, W Hotel, and they said, we love what you're doing. We should totally get this out and do networking events for these gossy ladies, right? Because that was a term that I made up for girl boss. And I said, okay, let's do it. Gathered 45 girls, our first event. Our second event, we were 85. Then I said, okay, there's something here, right? Mm-hmm. Third event was real estate themed with Amy Sad. We had 175. And then it just kept growing organically. Mm-hmm. And now the magazine, right, which is a whole other venture, started about 2-3 months ago. And it was my my first cover, Leia Lipkowitz.
3 months ago.
Yes, okay. That I started the edition of the Goss mag. And it's because I've been online for 2 years, right? But it's very hard to find advertisers that want to put their stuff online if you don't have the views for it yet. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, how am I going to get these people to actually be promoted in the mag? And people were very interested in doing print still, surprisingly. So I put Leia Lipkowitz, who's my first cover, on the cover of the magazine, and she's been in the publishing industry for over 12 years, so she really knows Lipkowitz. Okay. Yeah, so she did Movado magazine, a design mag, for over 12 years. So she has all the contacts. So she's like, I'll be your mentor, I'll help you do this, and then we had a whole theme of business-oriented magazine for women, which is now became kind of like Goss.
Okay. So Goss is girl boss.
That's where it initially came from.
I love it.
But now there's so many, we really have a 48 to 52% viewing rate when it comes to men and women. Okay. So we're really diversified. So we said, okay, girl boss, kind of what we started with, but now it became just entrepreneurs. Guy bosses.
Only Montreal?
No, not Montreal based. Well, Montreal based in the sense that we're here, but
worldwide, the rest are worldwide.
Exactly.
Okay,
even in our first issue, we had Isaac Ash, who's a fashion entrepreneur in New York. So we interviewed him. Wow. I have this woman, Katrina Lambert from Shanghai. She started a fashion app, really interesting. It looks like an Instagram, but for fashion. We had her in there. So I'm really trying to also get bigger and bigger, that it's not just Montreal based. Amazing. It's about people, right? And entrepreneurs and their stories. Absolutely. That's what I really focus on.
And your mission around this is to do what?
To inspire women to become independent. And I say women, but I just inspire anybody to become independent, to chase their passion, to follow their dreams. Because, again, you're seeing this now, but 2-3 years ago, I had zero networks. These contacts, I built them myself. And part of the reason why I did that was because growing up, my parents got divorced when I was 13. And my mother hadn't worked for over 20 years. And then when my parents separated, she was left with nothing. Oh. Okay. So I was, I had two things to do at that point in time. I said, okay, I can either kind of follow the routes that some women take. It's a lot easier, right? Depend on a guy, have children, and move on. Or you can take the harder road and actually build something for yourself. And men actually respect that a lot more, I've noticed, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
The more you do that, they're like, wow, okay, this is serious. And I want younger girls, because I was there once upon a time, to really just do that. I want them to get inspired and to understand that they can do it. And it's not easy, but it's simple. And if you find the right women around you, you can elevate and do anything you want.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're proof of a person who started in Montreal, locally, and now is international, like a celebrity. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Amazing.
And what did you do? You're talking about networking. How important is to network?
It's my entire reason why I have these contacts, literally. I started with interviewing people. So I would actually look up to certain people in Montreal, men and women, And when I started my platform, I was 21, and I said, okay, I really want, like, how did they get there? Because I know that they didn't come from money and that they were self-made. So I went out of my way to go find like the Amy Assads and the Kim Lalous and the Leila Lipkowitz of the world that did something. And by doing that, I built them, they became my friends. They became my networks. And then they started introducing me to other people like them. And then now when I do an event or when I want to do a magazine, my database is there, right? Like the people are like, oh, okay, Rebecca, yes, I know her through this or through that. So it's so important to build a good contact, like a referral-based business, right? Which you guys...
And how do you do that?
So literally by doing my networking events. Like I do these, now have a lineup I'm doing for the next year. We're going to do 10. Always in different industries. Another thing that people don't understand is that you don't have to be a real estate broker to go to a real estate event. You don't have to be a doctor to go to a medical event. To interact with other people from different industries will actually make you, again, interested in their field, but also interconnected with the field. So if you're in real estate, for example, and you're a doctor, it's interesting for you because, hey, you might own the building.
Of course. So
you're interested in real estate. So we did a medical panel last year in October with Dr. Schwartz, right?
Okay.
And 6 other entrepreneurs that are doctors, so they own the building.
Okay.
And the whole concept there was, okay, you own a clinic, you just finished med school, you're a GP, so you're specialized, well, that's a bit more broad, but let's say you're specialized in plastic surgery. You only know plastic surgery. Now you're entering the business world. You're incorporated, you're a business. What do you do? How do you do it? So at that panel, we had like our RBC financial analysts that were there. We had real estate people. We had developers, like, because everybody is connected to every industry. You end up realizing at the end of the day.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I did, and I didn't that's why I make it like very general. Like I try to generalize my events, even if they are specific to a certain industry.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Would you agree with the term, your net worth is your network?
100%.
Love it.
100%, like 1,000%. It doesn't matter what, like, where you came from. It doesn't matter what you don't or do have. At the end of the day, if you hang around with, like, there was a really great quote, which is, if you hang out with 9 billionaires, you'll be the 10th. Right? Because it's a mentality. That's what I'm also trying to understand, is that it's the success mindset. It's a mindset.
I love it.
Right? And that's what our magazine was. Our first issue was all about how do you develop the mindset to become successful. Because it's all about self-confidence also, right? How do you develop self-confidence? You get turned down so many times that you're like, okay, I need to do this. Because if I don't do this, like, you don't care anymore. It's not personal.
Exactly.
If you get rejected, it means, okay, you know what? Right now, it's not right for their market. Whenever I get a no, I'm like, no problem. I'll see you in a year. Like, I'll see you in 2 years. It pushes me to push. It motivates me because I'm like, okay, you know what? That's good. It's a challenge. How can I get them to a yes?
So in sales, we say, no's build you, yes, build your pocket.
100%. And then when you get that yes after a no, you're like,
yes, love it,
Right? It's almost like a better thrill than just getting the yes right off the bat.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people on our Facebook that want to ask questions to successful people, and obviously you're one of them. One of the questions was, I'm sure there was times you were feeling down, and like you were discouraged and everything. What did you do to push through these tough times?
Very good question.
Wow, very good question. You know what? There was so many times, but to me, that's what fuels me. And then looking at Instagram and getting DMs from girls being like, you inspire me every day, please keep doing this. Like younger girls, I have my friends who are saying, like, who went from having a 9-to-5 to opening companies and opening businesses, and they were not entrepreneurs. And I'm like, wow, the fact that I have this, like, the power in a sense to influence others, I can't give up. Like, it's not just me anymore. Wow. It's like my
it's
following.
Bigger than you.
It's these women, and it's not because, and again, because of me, is because of other women that helped me. So it's almost like a chain reaction that fuels me. And in the moment when I feel like, for example, when I was in my magazine, right, for 2 months, like I was just like working like 60 to 8 hours a week, like staying up till 4 or 5 a.m., like constantly. And I wrote almost all the content in that magazine. It was 100 pages, so a lot of content. And when I was doing it, there was so many nights when I'm like, oh my God, I can't pull this off. There's no way I can pull this off. And then I would just go and listen to a podcast, right? Tom Bilyeu, love Tom Bilyeu. He's a great impact theory. Listen to that. I listen to Grant Cardone, listen to Tony Robbins.
Yes.
Whatever it is for that moment. And then your mindset just goes back to what you're doing.
I love it.
And 90% of success is mindset.
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
and personal development. So you did have, I'm sure you had like a mentor or somebody you were looking up to.
So many mentors. I say that every woman and men that I've worked with has in some way inspired me. It can be literally an architect to a designer to a fashion entrepreneur to a somebody in sales, like anybody. Because at the end of the day, they all have it's a passion that fuels them when it's real and it's organic. The passion that fuels them, it was what inspires me to keep going.
Did you visualize, because I don't know if you believe in law of attraction? 100%. Excellent. Did you know where you're going to be right now? Like, did you visualize like it already happened from day one?
Yeah. It's so funny. Like when I was doing my magazine, I had like the board, and I literally would write, okay, this is the title, this is going to look like, this is the table of contents, this is this. And for me to do that, and I would write myself checks of my company, okay, wow. Gossy Cup Inc. Like I did all of that because I'm like, okay, this needs to happen. How am I going to put it? And of course, because I read so much and listen to so many podcasts, there's so many people that say this. Like if you could see it, if you can visualize it, then it becomes real, right? Yeah. There's something else about how your brain can't tell the difference between something that actually happens and then you just thinking that it's happening. So if you can differentiate it, okay, put it on paper and then it'll become.
I love it. Bravo.
And you see, for everybody watching, at the beginning, now you see Rebecca for who she is today, but like you were saying, you were staying up to 4:30 in the morning, working 80 hours a week. Still am. So it doesn't happen overnight. It's not lucky. You keep on going. You created your own luck, which is amazing. Amazing.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? Oh my
God.
Yes.
So the goal for me is to become the Forbes for women in business. Wow. So it's going to be international. There's going to be a huge online platform, but I really want to go and find local entrepreneurs. That's the key that Goss has, is that we find the people that are doing it in those cities to influence the people in those cities, right? Because if you're looking at a celebrity or somebody who's a billionaire in San Fran or in LA, like that's way too, it's unattainable to you, right? But if you see somebody who grew up in your neighborhood and who made it and who became and who stayed here, you're like, okay, this is attainable to me, this is inspiring, I can make this happen for myself. It's almost like these local celebrities or influencers, now it's the trend, right? Because you can actually talk to them. You can message a person on Instagram with 100,000 followers and they'll actually answer you. You can't message somebody with millions, they have a PR team, it's very different. Awesome. So that's the goal of Goss Club. For
any person who sees you now as a role model, because that's what you are right now, in this specific industry, and they're looking to get started in this industry, what would be your advice to that person?
Great question. I would say, and it's funny because in the beginning I used to think that I'd had to have a reason to approach people that already started their companies, right? So I would interview them. Now looking back, honestly, just send them an email or call them and say, can I just have a coffee with you? Like, I just want to pick your brain for like half an hour. And people are, and like you might get some no's, you might get like, you're not gonna know, you'll get I'm too busy or whatever. No one is ever gonna refuse the opportunity to inspire somebody else who's younger or who needs the help. True. So I would start there. I would start with like, who are, let's say, the 5 people in that industry that you look up to the most. Okay. Literally email them or call them up or go see them at their office.
Basically get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and you have to get out of your comfort zone because then it becomes like robotic.
Yeah. Do you have like a morning ritual, like a morning routine? Yes. And also, do you believe that waking up early is a direct proportion of success? What's your opinion on that?
It's crazy, 100%. Like, who does this and who actually inspired me to do this was Amy Assad. She wakes up at like 5. Anyone who knows her knows that she's up at 4:35 a.m. Okay. And when I used to work with her in one of my events, and she would text me so early that I'm like, okay, I need to wake up earlier and I need to answer her at those times too. And then I started to notice that you do your best work when the whole world is quiet. So from like 5 to 8 or 6 to 8 a.m. is when you can actually focus and get the most, like you can answer everything for the whole day in those 2 hours. So I highly suggest go to bed early, wake up early. It's the best thing. My morning routine is like meditate. I don't touch my phone for an hour. That's one thing that I do at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. After exactly. Which is, who does this? Mel Robbins. She said, she's like, if you want to have $1 million morning, don't touch your phone. Okay. And even the 5-second rule, exactly. Her and Jim Quick. Jim Quick said the same thing. He's like, I don't even put the phone in my bedroom. So I'm not there yet because I need it for my alarm. But definitely an hour before bed, an hour before. It's really your you time.
How important is it? I think you talked about it in one of your videos. Always dress for success.
Oh my God.
Talk about that.
Okay, so the first 20 to 30 seconds of somebody meeting you, right away, they're judging you, right? It's physical appearance you have to, in a sense. So if you're dressing like, and I feel it's funny because when you look at celebrities or people that have made it already, they don't even care anymore, right? But to get there, I find that it just makes you more confident. Like I feel 10 times more confident when I'm dressed well and when I'm wearing heels. And I can just like, even if I'm home and I'm doing a phone call with somebody, I put heels on. Because I'm like, you know what? Like, it just makes me feel more confident on the phone. Like, if you're dressed in sweatpants or in PJs, like people who work at home, and you get too comfortable, like, just no, get up, like, you know, put your suit on. Why do men wear suits? You feel great when you put it, and you look great. So why not?
Oh, we love what you do. You're awesome. If somebody wants to follow you on social media, how can they follow you?
So on Instagram, it's Rebecca I. Perez. Yeah, Rebecca I. Perez. Facebook, it's my name. So just send me DM. Like I'm super old. I literally spend like at least an hour or two answering all my DMs a day. So don't be shy.
Well, thank you for your time. Really
thank you. My pleasure. It was great, and you guys are killing it. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I want to give a huge thank you to The Nick and Jimmy Show for having me here. If you do want to follow them, then they are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at The Nick and Jimmy Show. Thank you for watching.